Let's get it. One way or another.
Let it, run from it. Destiny arrives all the same.
Cowboys, Dak Prescott. Point of view from Jaylen Mills, plus more.
Spartans, prepare for glory.
Come on. Yo. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Ain't no party like a Law Nation party. Stand to your feet. Come on, baby. The name is Law Nation. And that's the room filler. Be sure. And I mean just that, be sure to hit the like, share this content, let that friend or neighbor know. Where to go? Riggs, I can't make this up, baby. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on. Let's get it. All right. Appreciate everybody, man. Thank all of you all. Shout out to you, Chris. I see you in the chat. Drama. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you. Kyle, appreciate you. And Fit. KD, appreciate everybody, man. Elena, appreciate you for jumping in. All right, so with that being said, Cowboy Nation, news this weekend or this week, basically, well, this weekend, Cam Newton, Cam, he get jumped. And he talked bad about the Cowboys throughout the season here and there, and we hope all is well. And then my guy, Richard Sherman, he gets arrested. He's been talking bad about the Cowboys. So y'all better make sure, man, y'all better stop putting negative stuff out about the Cowboys. Something may happen to you, man. Shoot. So it's just what it is. Shout out to you, L. Cool. So it's one of those things, man. We hope all is well with everybody, though. You know, just Cam got jumped. Yeah, Chris, yeah. Y'all better watch out. And then Stephen A. Smith get called out, man. Y'all better. It's a real thing out here. Let me see. We can start off with Stephen A. Smith first, man. We can start off with Stephen A. Smith first. And then we go into the details, man. You know, we go into the details of what we're going to have to say today. But the Pelicans, man, the New Orleans Pelicans, man, they put out a tweet or an X, however you want to call it, and they They wasn't pulling back or holding back nothing. Watch this.
Nah, this man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. The man cannot play the game of basketball. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball. He's got bad feet. He can't really move, even though he's mobile. Doesn't really know what he's doing. Doesn't have a post move that he puts to memory that he can do 2 times in a row. He has no game whatsoever. Plays no defense. Doesn't have the heart, the passion, or anything that comes with it. Nah, this man was a bona fide scrub.
Shit. Whoa, man, this is just whoa, Kimo Sabe, come on, man. So it's one of those things, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Jaylen Mills, who used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles, also played for the Boston, New England Patriots. So he is a guy that's been living on that East Coast, and he's been playing with those 2 teams. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the globe in the world, he's from Texas. He's a Texas boy, right down the street, man, in DeSoto, man. So shout out to him. But he give us an unbelievable thought track of what was going on with the Cowboys from a objective point of view or from the outside looking in. We're going to play some of that audio there. Appreciate you guys, man. Yeah, let's go. Let's listen to it. Can y'all hear audio?
I wanted someone to come in here and crack heads, and I just want to ask you a bunch of Belichick questions because he is the GOAT.
Shout out to 105.3 The Fan.
Yeah.
Is he really that much smarter and sharper than everyone else teaching the game?
Yeah, I think it's more with him. Situational football, we go over it every single day. 2 minute, 4 minute. If it's Sunday, 11 o'clock before the game, he's out there, hey guys, the wind is blowing this way. So if you're at corner or you're at safety and they're throwing a go ball, the ball's going to drop inside of the numbers.
Yeah.
If you're on the other sideline, it's gonna travel farther. So you know once you see that ball in the air, you have to run a little harder. You might have to jump a little higher. It's like he knows the little bitty nuances throughout the game.
Yeah.
And like I said, situational football, we literally did 2 minute or 4 minute almost every single day.
Now the knock.
Really?
Now that's Jalen. The interview is about 40 minutes long, 30 to 40 minutes long. It's on YouTube, and he was talking about Bill Belichick, the brilliancy of Bill Belichick, and how he get people to be prepared. And it's the small details when you're talking about football, the field conditioning, the mental conditioning, the place of the ball, if it's overinflated, if it's underinflated, you know what I'm saying? So that's what Bill Belichick brings to the game. He's trying to win at all costs, right? And he wants to win. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time in the NFL world, right? And he was just talking about him and his thoughts. But to get full access to the full interview, click that link right there. It should be floating around in the chat area.
Yeah.
There's two knocks on him.
Mm-hmm.
One, from the media perspective, he has to have personnel control, bad drafts.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I want to ask you about as a player is that he's just, he's an ass.
Yeah.
And you can't, Jay Glazer and some people we talked to at the Super Bowl said you can't do this with today's young player. That
Listen
you can't have
listen
guys
to this
miserable
part.
playing for you.
Yeah.
That it's a dictatorship and this hard-handed rule doesn't play today.
Right.
What do you say to that?
For one, if you can't take hard coaching, you're soft. For one, when you're talking about today's players, you got these COVID kids coming out of college. They had these extra years. Coaches can't.
Do y'all think that these players on this team is going to be ready for that hard coaching? Because that's what Zim is going to bring to the table. Although he's talking about Bill Belichick, but I truly believe that Zim is going to bring that hard coaching into the building. Right.
Get your up there, contain the damn ball. This is why we do it. Hey, too many missed tackles. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're too damn soft. I just hate mistakes. I hate mistakes.
Are we preparing ourselves for some coaching over here? Come on with it.
And talk to him, and then you come into a situation where you're playing for the Patriots, and it's Bill Belichick. At the end of the day, he's won a lot a certain type of way.
Yeah.
And you can't do nothing but respect it.
Do you agree, though, that the new player, Brandon Cook, Stephon Gilmore, told this to our afternoon show, the new player is harder to coach?
Yeah.
And, you've been in nine years.
Yeah.
But the new kids coming in, you got to treat with some kid gloves?
I think so. Some of these guys are a little different. Like I said, 8 years, going on 9.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You see these young guys come in this locker room, and they might make a mistake, and coach is yelling at them, and it's either you getting an attitude or you getting a shell. And now us as veteran guys, you got to tell them, hey man, you made a mistake. Coach is coaching you up. It's not. Don't listen to how he's saying it. Listen to what he's saying.
Yeah,
that's deep right there. Yeah.
They're listening to the yelling. Man, he yelling at me, man. I'm a grown man. Yeah, we're all grown men. But at the end of the day, his job is also dependent on your job. How good you do is going to depend on if he can feed his family as well.
Do you think, sorry, Chop, the Patriot way, the culture is kind of an outdated thing in New England versus other places in the league? When Bill was under Bill's watch.
Yeah, I think it's different cultures. You build different cultures, in every team has a different culture, and I think that culture was built there for a certain reason. And going there, getting drafted there, being a free agent and going there, you have to know what you're getting yourself into. You know, the culture here in Dallas is different than New England. The culture in New York is different than the one in Philly. You know, so I think it's just more about embracing it more than trying to say, I don't like this or I don't like that. It's just, it's hard work.
So the players, you think they're more sensitive, or the spot they're the most sensitive? Would you say it's in that film room day after a loss? Maybe is that where it hits the most for them?
Definitely, I think and I've been through it. You have a bad game, and as soon as you get to the locker room, the media's like, you don't want to talk to them. You just want to get out of that locker room as fast as possible and go to your family. But at the end of the day, you guys have a job, and we have a job, and you got to talk to the media when you're having a bad day just as much as you want to talk to them when you have a good day. When I have 2 picks and a touchdown.
I'm trying to see when we're going to get to the point where he's going to talk about the Cowboys. I think it's coming up in a few, so y'all bear with it. Let's go.
Hell yeah, I want to talk to you guys. But if I've had a bad game, well, at the end of the day, I have to be a man about it and talk to you guys as well.
What's the most misunderstood thing about Belichick? Or the biggest surprise when you tell people?
He actually is a cool guy. Actually, outside of football,
I've heard he could dress. Like he dressed. I heard outside. Like if he wants to dress up, he can dress. I don't know that's true or not.
You guys have you were with the Patriots last 3 years.
Twice
played the Cowboys. Specifically this past year played them with the new offense and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys were game planning for them, like what's the book on the Cowboys offense? Like when you guys were planning for them, what is the thing of like, man, they do this really well. This is how we got to approach them. How did you guys look at Dallas's offense this year when you guys were game planning for them?
You have to start fast versus that Dallas offense on defense. If you let them go up 7 points, 10 points, 14 points, then you're going to be in trouble. I mean, you guys know how the stadium is in there. Blow horn. Sorry. I got in game mode. I'm visualizing. That's good. You get the blow horns and the fire shooting out of the stuff, and it's going crazy in there, and it's going to be hard to catch back up because that defense, they're making turnovers now. Now they want to play passing defense. Michael Parsons, and you had Bland and Diggs, and Gilly was there. They're creating turnovers. So the biggest thing was on defense, man. We need to get a 3-and-out this first possession and do not let them drive the field and score a touchdown.
Before they go into the other conversational piece, that's what most people were saying last year, that the Cowboys, and the year before that, and probably the year before that we are a front runner team. Like we got to have the league, or we got to have the advantage of a scoop and score or pick six or something like that, or a shorter field so that someone can't drive the field, because we are a pass rush heavy team. We had a lot of edge rushers, man. One can argue that we have too many edge rushers. The old argument is you can never have too many, but we had literally too many edge rushers out there. And it was a good problem to have, especially when you have the league. But what happened when it's time for you to stop the run, when it's time for you to penetrate and get pressure inside the pocket, right? So those are the things that we were pretty much absent from. And then on top of that, what happened when you don't get the scoops and scores? What happened when you don't get the takeaways? Then this defense look different, right? So what I'm looking at is that what the Cowboys may do under Mike Zim is be more of a balanced team, right? I'm not saying that we should never go back to nickel, because I think if you look at it, if you guys do your homework, close to 70% of the league plays a lot of nickel, right? But you got to have packages. And understand the way your team is built in a certain situation. A Ferrari is good, right? A Lambo is really nice, but it don't have a trailer hitch on the back. It probably can't pull like a truck. One of them F-150 is one of those big boys down there on the road, right? So it may be a flashy, nice car, but it may not be usable for the situation that you need. So having a well-balanced machine probably fits this team a whole lot better, especially down the stretch. And shout out to the people that's in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in.
Obvious differences preparing for a Kellen Moore offense versus a Mike McCarthy offense?
Kellen Moore, he doesn't care if it's 28-7 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He's going straight to the end zone again. McCarthy was kind of more like 28-7, 4 minutes left, game's over, get a ball to the running back in the game, which is a smart idea.
Yeah,
get your players healthy to the next week.
So kind of a game management situation of let's run it up versus let's melt the clock.
You got the game won.
Yeah.
Finish the game off.
But nothing crazy different in terms of X's and O's, routes, scheme, motion, all that stuff.
No, you see it with the top guy on offense within CeeDee Lamb from last year to this year. Granted, he did have a crazier year this year.
Yeah.
But, if you're talking about production, he was still most productive person on that offense as far as when you're throwing the ball.
Right.
So, they're still throwing the ball.
The green hair still cannot be for the Eagles.
All right, so let's break this down. Of course, CeeDee Lamb is a hell of a productive guy, right? He's going to bring you the most production from the aspect, first round talent as it relates to wide receiver play too. He was drafted in 2020. Here's the craziest thing. When players come to Dallas, they immediately get this role of they should be a veteran, right? 2020, one can argue and say, okay, let's give CD a little grace and mercy, right? The quarterback was hurt, in and out with different other quarterbacks, but he still produced and put up great numbers. And then in 2021 came about, people were so ready to get rid of Amari Cooper. That was this first year with the quarterback healthy, playing for majority of those games or what have you, and people already had the expectations that CeeDee Lamb is already arrived, right? And the Jones family looked at it too from that particular mindset and said that, okay, the next year we can prepare to move on. We can prepare ourselves to move on from Amari Cooper. You see, Cowboys land, we can't have good things here, right? We got to move stuff on, and we talk about payments and these sorts of things. But to make a long story short, think about it. 2021 was his second year. 2022 was his third year ever, right? But people already had the expectations. And the craziest thing of it all, CeeDee Lamb in his first 3 years put up better numbers than any person that ever wore 88. That's crazy, huh? And if you look at the legacy and the history of the Cowboys, we had some good guys to wear 88, by the way. Now entering into this year, his numbers excel even more. Of course, the expectations would be there, but now they're in that middle place of whether or not do they pay CeeDee Lamb or do they not? Are they dragging their feet around? And it need to be addressed early before you kind of taint the mind of the player, But, the craziest thing, the 49ers, they drafted a wide receiver in the first round. His name is Brandon Ayuk. Nobody goes back and forth and say, let's sully and denigrate him, right? Let's put Debo up there and put Debo versus Brandon Ayuk, or Ayuk is better than Debo, or Debo better than Brandon. You see what I'm saying? But they did that here in Cowboys land. It's always, hey, man, CD is better than Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper better than CD. Instead, did that if these guys were on the same team together for a long stay, they would have did unbelievable stuff. But that's a whole nother conversation here. He goes into details of talking about why he wears his green hair, and it's for his late great uncle, I believe, who passed away. We're going to try to fast forward over this just a little bit here. Matter of fact, let me see. Can y'all bear with me while I go snoop around and see where that time stamp at. Bear with me. We're going to go right here.
You do have to just line up, and it's like, hey, it's mano a mano. It's one-on-one. My corner's one-on-one. Now that play's being made. Doesn't really know what's going on. So we can go double A gap. And
it's talked about with Zimmer as they talk about.
Here we go.
I mean, I like Zimmer. He's
get the fans up on the third down. But
Right.
like, their fans are just more naturally into it on every single play.
Cowboy pressure.
Very well.
Is it similar? How is it different in Philly?
you go.
I mean, it's really kind of the same. You know, the expectation is high. You won a championship, like they won a championship. You know, Dallas, we won a championship here, but it's that pressure of going out and really, if you really just boil it down, Dallas and Philly are kind of the same as far as how the fans, they want guys to go out.
Man, hold on, dog. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources that we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah, indeed, man. I would say this. Our fan base is extremely different from the Eagles fan base. And this is such a crazy way to say that the Cowboys and the Eagles has passion. Yeah, we both passionate, you know, and that's most fan bases out there. But come on, man. Come on, man.
There every week and play as hard as possible.
Yeah.
Of course you want to win, but if you're going out there and you're busting your tail and you're giving it your all every Sunday, they're gonna love you.
Do you find that their fans, like in the game, are more naturally like? You see a lot of stadiums, they try to get the fans up on the third down. But
Right.
like, their fans are just more naturally into it on every single play.
Yeah, I think so. It's a
Along
defensive.
with Boston.
Yeah, defensive city. Philly is. Brian Dawkins, all those guys. It's so when it is third down, they want that defense. They're on fire. First and second down doesn't matter whether it's 31 or 30 and 15. Like it's time to go.
Speaking of defense,
Yeah.
you told us in the break that you think we're going to be happy with Mike Zimmer here.
Yes.
Why?
I think he's a guy who not only holds himself accountable, but holds his players accountable as well. His defensive scheme is really, really good. He's able to put guys in a lot of different positions to win. And, I mean, I like Zimmer. I've played against him before, been on the opposite side of it, but I think he's a really, really smart guy. He's a leader.
One of the things that is talked about with Zimmer is they talk about the way that he disguises coverages and some of the stuff he likes to do with like double A gap blitzes and just some different things.
Yeah.
Whereas Dan Quinn kind of just showed you static what he was going to do.
Right.
Just as a defensive player, how do you look at the pros and cons of both those things? Disguising things and trying to disguise things pre-snap versus just, hey, we're showing you a static look and we're going to just worry about execution.
So this is kind of how I think about it. When it's a lot of disguising going on, you're going against a quarterback who doesn't really know what's going on. So we can go double A gap and make it look like blitz, drop everybody out. Now he's Mike check one of these guys in the A gap, and now you got a guy like Michael Parsons one-on-one now, right?
Right.
Or we can go double A gap and we blitz both those guys, and you may drop a guy over here, and the quarterback knows that the blitz is coming, and he's trying to throw this hot route on the backside, and now he's throwing it to a drop coverage over there, and now a play's being made. But there are guys where I've played Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, and sometimes those disguises, they'll get your head bust because they know the game. They've seen it so much to where you do have to just line up, and it's like, hey, it's mano a mano. It's one-on-one. My corner's one-on-one. My safety's one-on-one. It's tight end. All of my D linemen, we're all one-on-one. Somebody's going to get, of course, double team, but now it's our guys are better than your guys. And it comes down to that sometimes. The 3rd and 5 play to win the game, and it's all man-to-man, and you know it and we know it. So I think it's kind of it's an up-and-down situation with it, but disguising definitely helps now with defensive scheme for sure.
So when he said Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, those guys are elite at reading defenses, and there's only so much that you can throw at those boys for fake, and they will eat that up, man. And that's one of the things that benefited from those boys for playing in the league for such a long time. Now, granted, Tom Brady is no longer in this league, right? You have Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see what he's going to look back once he get back. into the folds of everything. But truth be said, Aaron Rodgers last year at Green Bay, he didn't look that good, ladies and gentlemen. He was doing a horrible job, and he didn't have a broken leg or a thumb or anything like that. But that's a whole nother conversation. I would say this, football begins to slow down, and things you'll be able to see it at slow motion once you get to a certain age in this game. And we've seen that happen. I remember even Tony Romo talking about the fact that on the back end of his career, things began to slow down for him. He began to see the plays as it developed, and he'd be able to call them out just so quickly. But by this being a contact sport, and by this being a sport where it's totally about health, the diminishing rates will be upon you, right? So you can even have a processing system. I want to get this ball out, but your body will fail you if you don't put the right things together. And we've seen that happen time and time again. So we'll see, man, what this 2024 season will look like with Dak Prescott. But, time will tell it all on how he plays this game going forward. I would say this. Most of these guys, they scale and get better.
Defensive player Jaylen Mills in studio here on Sean, RJ, and Bobby. Is it almost a fact that you should have motion on your offense?
Yeah.
It's more difficult for you to defend?
Yeah, I think so. We were just kind of talking about it, motioning from starting the formation into the boundary and motioning it back to the field rather than just lining up your 3-by-1 formation to the field. And then now the defense can dictate and they can get to their checks and here and there quick. Right? And if you have a motion, then you might have a defense who can't communicate that good. Or you might have a defense that, now a big play has happened and they have to go to the sideline. They was like, Coach, well, they did this and this and this. Like, we didn't see that motion before.
Yeah.
Or like we was talking about San Fran, what we call is build the formation. They may come out in a 3-by-1 bunch. And now they motion the guy over here. And they really want to get to a 2-by-2 formation, but they gave you a 3-by-1 bunch, and they know that you're going to check something to that 3-by-1 bunch.
Because you got to respect
now it's motion
that.
over here, 2-by-2, and they know when you get to this 2-by-2 formation and to this boundary, you're going to call a certain call. Now they got you.
They got you. They got you. So I mean, I think I heard my guy Scott talk about this. Somebody else, it could have been Matt Owens. It could have been someone else talking about in that playoff game. I know for sure Scott touched on this. Scott Walker Steele. You guys can check him out, A to Z Sports Dallas in the morning. But he was talking about that, in that playoff game, we didn't do a lot of motions. And I'm not putting this all on Coach Mike McCarthy and as well as with Dak Prescott. But what I'm saying is that some of those creativities, you got to continue to do those things, especially in the playoffs. You got to be able to have those moments where your team can motion so that you can put the Green Bay Packers on their heels again. That's what one of the things that we kind of shied away from in some of these games. On these bigger games, we stopped doing motion. We like, hey. And if your quarterback to receiver, if they are off and they're not on the same page, then you're going to have to figure out a way to get your other playmakers involved, right? I think this past season, on the reverse or the end around, my guy Kevontae Turpin averaged 8.5 yards per rush. Put him in the game. Everybody know it's coming, but still, he's a 4.3 guy. Somebody said he ran a 4.2 something at one point in time. So put him in the game and then just get everybody relaxed. Put CeeDee in the backfield. Let everybody get a little bit comfortable. Let the nervousness get out of them or whatever is going on. And now you get in rhythm, and then they will create other opportunities. I think that what they did, they listened to some of the things that the people were saying about Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy knows what's going on, and that's why he picked up the phone and said, hey, bring me Steve Simcoe, right? let me get somebody in here to assist. Let me also still have the Brian Schottenheimer to also still install some stuff, right, to assist in that category. I'm still going to call the plays because I refuse to give up that duty, to not call plays. But let me have someone to assist, someone to do a little extra work. And I've been banging on this table saying that, man, can somebody give Mike McCarthy a sandwich or something in the third quarter? Remember, he just goes so much into a stale moment, right? Coming out of halftime. Hopefully for this year, even though it's a lame duck season for him, because I'm quite sure that the Cowboys front office put some type of stipulations. Hey, deep playoff run or you fired. Super Bowl or you fired. I don't see him staying around if we do the exact same thing that we did last year. There would not be a renewing of his contract. But let's listen to these guys right here.
From the 817. It's one that, we ask Mike McCarthy and other people, but it's good to ask somebody outside the building too. When you're game planning for Dak, what do you look at and say, this is what he does really well? Like, this is what we have to be most cautious with Dak specifically.
You can't say throw an interception in a big spot.
Stop it.
Exactly. I would say just lining up stagnant, like how we just kind of saying, just lining up, playing defense, man-to-man, press corner on the backside, safety down. The scheme is too good. The offensive players that, whether it's running or passing the ball are too good, and he gets to his checks.
Right.
Now he's going to fry you. You have to show it too high. Now it's on the snap, we're going to one high. Show one high. On the snap, we're going to two high. Trap the corner on the backside. Have him off on the snap, roll down, put the safety over the top of him. Give him something to where now he thought he seen something. He has to pat the ball, and now he has to go through his reads. Like, that's defensive scheme. Like, you can't just, like we talked about it, the scheme is too good. They're going to run the score up on you. You have to make him hold the ball for a split second and think.
Does he catch too much heat?
I think so.
I think Jaylen Mills, he was on the other end of it. I think in 2021, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, it was him that CeeDee kind of waved at him, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It was him that CeeDee scored the touchdown. He pushed him in his back. He flipped inside, and he was like, hey, you can go home now. CeeDee got a fine for that, about $12,000 too, by the way. He got fined for waving at Jaylen Mills. But I would say this too, and he did bring up some good points. You got to throw some wrinkles at Dak. You just can't just line him up straight up and be like, all right, cool, we're going to beat the quarterback. You got to disguise. You got to also put some wrinkles in and put some adjustments in there. And one of the things that I would say that most teams, when they face the Cowboys, and I get it, a lot of people will think that, Dak is trash, Dak is ass, Dak suck, and all of this stuff. But they absolutely, if it's anybody on that team that they fear for. And you can look at how the alignments are and where the DBs are at and where the actual safeties are at. They don't send all-out blitzes on Dak because he kills them in that category. And on top of that, they absolutely don't load the box up and give him a single-eye safety look. It's always Dak got to go through some zones, some mixed man zones, as well as some doubles and stuff like that because of the fact that we had, for the last 2 years, one can argue literally it was somewhere in between 2018 when we started that season out 3-5 that teams literally didn't fear the run. Teams absolutely don't respect the Dallas Cowboys run. They respected it in 2016 and to a degree 17 because we had a guy named Ezekiel Elliott on the field, off the field type of situation. But they stopped respecting the run somewhere in between 18 all the way up until now. We haven't had a real legitimate threat at the run. And sometimes you can still have numbers. Some people will look at the numbers and say, okay, these running backs got 1,000 yards or what have you. It ain't the same. You see, the 49ers, when you play them, you got to respect that run. Shoot. If you don't respect that run, they're going to run all over you, and they don't care if it's me back there. You know, they'll find some guys, man, you know, and they will run that ball all over you. Ravens, when you play against the Ravens, shoot, you're going to have to respect the run because they are built to run the ball. The Kansas City Chiefs, of course, you got to respect where Pat Mahomes can throw the ball. But there's nobody who actually watched tape can look at Pacheco and say, man, we can go with a light box with him. Let me know how he run on those light boxes. Yeah. 2022, Zeke had 12 touchdowns, King 12 touchdowns. Yeah, but those were inside the 5, right? Those opportunities, the team still didn't respect Zeke running authority even in 2022, right? Zeke, believe it or not, Zeke was doing good in 2022, I believe, all the way up into that Lions game when he had hyperextended or he got hit on the knee or what have you. I think that he was on pace to getting back to some of that good stuff from their run authority, and people were pretty much worried about Tony Pollard when he got in those 1-2 hit combinations. But that's a whole nother storyline there. Zeke is water on the bridge now. Yeah, Kevin, nobody feared Tony Pollard. I think in one game this year he had a hundo, and I think that was against the Arizona Cardinals. But there's no disrespect to Tony, though. There's no disrespect to Tony. I think that Tony, even if the Cowboys decide to bring him back, if the price is right, you still have to go get another hammer that people going to have to fear. You can't just have lightning, right? You're going to have some lightning and thunder. But let's go with it.
I watched that last playoff game versus Green Bay. We always talk about ball security. As a team, any team should talk about ball security. You know, the life of the team, whether it's on defense, you intercept the ball and you see some guys fumble and they give it right back to the offense, or the offense turning over the ball with an interception or a fumble by a guy. But I think when there are big games,
right,
of course you want your quarterback to win the game.
True.
But you also need defense to take the pressure off him as well.
I want to ask you about a couple of NFL trends and see if you think they're stupid, they're legit.
Man, I love this panel. I'm going to have to see if I can reach out to Jaylen Mills and see if I can get him on the show since he's right here in Texas and he's a free agent now. But I wanted them to press on that point just a little bit longer, but I think he's going to counter and go somewhere else with it.
The way the game is going. The first is that the devaluing of your position.
Yeah, see, he gets off of that point. He should have just went in on that point a little bit more.
Now, we're never going to have Emmitt Smith come in here and admit that it's right that the running back position is devalued. But your position and linebacker are kind of that running back discussion on the other side of the ball. What do you think of it?
I, for one, and this could be a biased opinion.
Probably.
Outside of playing quarterback, I think the second hardest position is cornerback.
Corner.
Yes.
Okay. Corner for sure.
Corner. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But as far as safety and linebacker, especially deep in the season when it starts getting cold, you know, it's almost like playoff time.
Yeah.
Teams are running the ball. Your strong safety's in the box. He's technically a linebacker now, fitting those run gap schemes and how teams are going to attack you within the run game, pulling the guard, swapping the tight end back, motioning guy here to where now, you know, it's a bigger formation rather than how it started. I think it's definitely it's needed, and I mean it's wanted all the way around the league.
DB play is difficult depending on the scheme that you're in too. It's one of the most stringent type of positionings to know, but you gotta also add to that the linebacker. I think that Mike linebacker is one of the most difficult spots to also be in, because think about it. You are in the middle of the field. The easiest pass to make is in the middle of the field, right? On top of that, you got to make sure that you call out the alignments and the assignments, and then you got to understand that the run, you got to have discipline, right? A DB, in a sense, you still got safety help over the top. You can still mask some things on whether or not you're going to be off ball or you're going to have coverages. You can have roll coverages. And I know you got to have foot discipline in the eye, and you got to keep the wide receiver within the cylinder when they try to break free from that. I get all of that. But in actuality, I think that on the defensive side of the ball, one of the most devalued spots on a team is the linebacker. And that is by far one of the hardest positions to know, because you got to be a student of the game. And if you listen to like what Ray Lewis said on how he studied the game, and he had to make sure that he knew everything that the defensive front was doing. He knew everything that his compatriots was doing or his contemporaries were doing beside him, as far as the other linebackers and the safeties and the DBs. Shoot. You got to shed, disengage, you got to go down, you got to feel, you got to absorb blocks, and especially when they pulling, you got to blow through that. You can't be casually looking at that and say, I'm going to go all the way around. As a linebacker, when that 330-pound tackle or guard is pulling, you got to meet them where they at. You got to meet them where they at, and you can't be soft about it. But I do get his thoughts of it from a DB perspective, and shout out to the DBs. But out of the DBs, you got ranks within DBs. Look this up. A nickel cornerback is such a difficult spot to play in that not even prime time Deion Sanders say, man, I won't play on that nickel. No.
Do you say corner because, like, if you make a mistake at, like,
strike up the band,
right? Yeah. If you make a mistake at corner, it's 6. If you make a mistake at linebacker, there's some help behind you. Is that why?
Safety's behind you.
Yeah.
You see a lot of times a D lineman can get out of his gap. A linebacker can shoot the wrong gap, and the last person you see is the safety behind you. And if he misses that tackle, yeah, the D line and the linebackers might get heat in the locker room or in the film room, but at the end of the day, us, the media, the fans, all they see is that safety missed that tackle and their running back has went for 40, 50-yard touchdown.
The next one is the run game.
Yeah.
These two call me the old dinosaur, not just because I drive the speed limit, but I wanted McCarthy. I believe the Cowboys in key critical moments cannot stop the run and cannot run the football.
Right.
Is running the football prehistoric, outdated? Talk about facing the run, the importance of it being overrated or underrated in today's NFL.
It's essential. I mean, how many quarterbacks have we seen just go out there and throw 60 passes a game? You know, Tom Brady.
Yeah. You're usually losing.
Drew Brees. Yeah. You know, we said Aaron Rodgers. You know, you're usually losing if you're throwing that much.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you're talking about running the game, I mean, we just seen San Fran in the Super Bowl, right? That's how they got there. Baltimore was almost there.
Appreciate you, Brandy. Go get Wagner if he's available. I mean, he'll be a perfect bridge guy. You know, he'll be a perfect guy that you can bring in, and he will be that guy that can help with run fits. He will be a guy that can help with also alignment and then putting people in the right spots and places. But you'll bring him in ultimately to be a bridge guy, meaning that when you get into the draft, you still draft a linebacker, but you have Bobby on the team. You know, I would definitely do that. A cup of coffee, you know, espresso shot, do whatever you can, bring them in, you know. But the ideal should have been to bring Bobby in last year, though. That tooth getting longer and longer, man.
Running the ball right before the Kansas City game, Lamar Jackson had 100 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think
That's how they beat Houston.
that's when you're able to physically run the ball and impose your will on a team, and they know, hey, this is the run formation. They're running the ball, and they're still getting 3, 4, 5 yards a pop. And as a defense, we know they're running the ball, and we're sitting there and we're smashing them in the mouth, and it's tackle for loss, or it's a gain of no, or it's a gain of 1, or a gain of 2. Take that run. Take that run stuff out of here. Sorry, I got in football mode again, bro. I get engaged, bro.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Take that run stuff out of here, bro, and pass the ball. So I think it's essential to be able to run the ball and stop the run.
Does it make a difference to you? Like, it's a clear difference when you're taking on a physical team that week versus a finesse team.
100%.
And you're like, I'm not looking as forward to the physical one.
Not me, but there are teams that are like that. Because now when you're able to run the ball and you're able to do it at a high level within the game, now you're able to run play action. Now when we're able to run play action and we're faking this run on first down because we've had 2, 3, 4 first downs on a single run plays before, and now we're able to bring those linebackers in, and now the middle of the field is wide open. Now you get those 15, 17-yard pops at a time. And then you get right back to the run game again. It's crazy.
You're a free agent.
Now, before he talk, well, he's free agent, but I just want to let people know that, and I seen you in the chat, you said Bobby Wagner is just a name at this point. He literally had 4 sacks this past season. And I'm just bringing this up for references. Like I'm not trying to take a dump on any player out here, because we like I said, he will be the quarterback of the defense. The dude had 130 solo tackles, y'all. I mean, you 50 assists. So 100. Don't y'all know that the last time we had a dude with 130 solo tackles was like, I don't even think Sean Lee ever did that for us, right? So this had to go all the way back into the early, like Dexter Coakley days or what have you. And he had 4 sacks or what have you. Now, passer rating when targeted, he was a guy that, you can get him in the pass game a little bit. Those hips don't flex and move that way. That's why you can have the safety over the top. But, and I know they graded him really high. If y'all go by grades, they graded him really high in run defense because he came down the field. So I'm not finna sully his name, but I will definitely bring in Bobby Wagner for a cup of coffee, man, and say, hey, man, we need you on here. And his average depths per tackles wasn't like 14, 15 yards in the backfield, right? This dude was able to get up there and make some things happen. So I'm just saying, from a linebacker perspective, with 4 sacks and playing that linebacker role, I think that he will be a great bridge guy to whoever we draft. Let's say we draft a linebacker in the 2nd round or something. Hey, get behind Bobby, man. Or you can tell Overshown, and even though they're a different body makeup, Overshown, see what you can pick up and learn from him. Damone Clark, see what you can pick up and learn from him. I think that for sure Marquise Bell, he's not going to be playing a lot of linebacker stuff. I think that Marquise Bell is going to be your big nickel guy. He could play in the role of what J. Ron Kurt's been doing. I think that will be a slam dunk. And Wanye Thomas, he's going to get a little bit more playing time too. So let's go.
Talk to us about a fit that you would like to see happen for you with your skill set, the things that you're looking for.
I think me.
You want to keep playing?
Of course. Of course. I want to actually play. I've seen guys, Malcolm Jenkins, I think he played 12 years. McCourty played 13. I think I want to do 13. Body still feels good. I feel young, but I think for me, being a strong safety, being able to be in the box, something kind of that I did my last year in Philly, and then I kind of did a little bit this year as well, but being able to cover down on the tight ends, being able to be in the box, blitz, but I'm able to, because of my corner background, I can play in the slot.
Yeah. You don't want to go the Jamal Adams route.
I want to be a cover safety that guys are like, hey, if it's the wrong personnel, and it kind of happened this year. If it's the wrong personnel, and we have our safety out there, we can put him on the slot receiver for a down, and we'll be good.
Yeah. Let's talk about, again, the community work that you're doing,
Right.
how people can get involved in it,
Yeah.
follow you for all of it.
Yeah.
Y'all take a look at this piece right here.
I'm just out here trying to give back, man. Train a couple young guys out here, give them some free game, and I've actually already reached out to DeSoto High School and Coach Mathis, and we're going to get going in, I think, like a week and a half. Trying to do a couple more schools, more on the southern section, because there are a lot of great trainers on the northern section of Dallas. So, you know, whether it's my other old high school, Lancaster High School, whether it's Carter, DeSoto, Sock, man, guys, man, reach out to me on social media, man. I'm trying to get going.
Well, you're
no doubt, man. That's Jaylen Mills, man. The full interview is on 105.3 The Fan YouTube page, as well as their website at 105.3thefan.com. Y'all be sure to check those boys out, and I think it's brought to you by Odyssey there. So check them out, man. It was a great episode. A great way to go in and out of all of that good information. We got a super chat. Shout out to you, AJ. He says, I would take Wagner on name alone because I know he comes with the knowledge and the ability to teach our young linebackers. Right. Kind of like that coach's player out there on the field. Even though, now I'm being real with y'all, even though his steps are not the same, right? It's not the same. And knowing the Cowboys, we would get the Anthony Barr version of this bargaining Bobby Wagner, right? Remember Anthony Barr? We were like, yeah, bring him in. He's going to help us out. And then I was sitting there like, put Anthony Barr on the bench, man. God, dog. But the scheme didn't fit for him, though, you know. So two different schemes. We thought that we were going to get something good from Anthony Barr. He ended up like, man, let me just see a little bit more LVE versus Anthony Barr that year, right? And both of those guys were slow. Like they had concrete blockheads feet. So, but shout out to Anthony Barr and shout out to LVE. I think that LVE is going to go ahead and retire, though. To be real with you guys, that neck, man, those necks, hips, and backs, man, when they start hurting on you, man, it's better to just go ahead and retire that. You know, if you guys get what I'm saying, right? And let's see if we can go draft a guy, and let's just do that. I'm with the mindset that when I'm hearing the Parsons stories of everything, I'm looking at Parsons only as an edge guy who sometimes can play linebacker. I'm not finna go back and forth and say, yeah, man, he should be that linebacker for it. Nah, I'm looking at him as the edge guy, and I made up in my mind because I mean, his podcast is called The Edge. He talked about, hey, he wanted to be a linebacker. He wanted to be an edge guy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So we would know how this offseason would go when Zim get his hands on him. You know, we would know that. But at this point, come on. All right, and the other part of it is Dak Prescott and his money, right? I was trying to read some of y'all comments while the video was live of us, of Jaylen Mills talking about, you know, the defense and Dak or what have you from his point of view or what have you. I would say this about Dak Prescott. We're in that tight squeeze right here. Cowboy fan base, we forever gonna be divided on it. I heard somebody say, well, hey man, Danny White is better than Dak Prescott in the chat, right? Like, come on, man. Like, did you really watch football in the 70s through the 80s? Come on, man. Did you really watch Danny White? Because at the end of the day, Dak is about to shatter every quarterback record. And I'm not saying that with tongue in cheek. He's about to literally shatter most of the quarterback records, right? So are we only breaking it down from the connotations of how far a team went, right? And we can say that, okay, because Danny White went to the NFC championship games to lose or what have you, that makes him better. Or because a quarterback won a Super Bowl, that what makes them better, because Danny White didn't have a Super Bowl. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? So it's one of those things where I encourage you guys to really Look at what this dude is doing from a quarterback completion percentage. That is not nothing to sneeze at. From a quarterback yardages of what he's putting up in a game, passer rating, all of those things quantifies into accuracy, by the way. So that's one of the craziest things that people would like to argue and say, well, this quarterback is not accurate, but then he holds all of the accuracy numbers, so how make that make sense? Make that make sense. And I'm not even trying to pump Dak Prescott up like that. Against blitzes, his numbers are crazy. One of the things that we need to understand, that we don't have doomsday defense here. Roger Staubach had that. We don't have a Tony Dorsett. Roger Staubach had that. We don't have the 90s offensive line. Troy had that. We don't have an Emmitt Smith in our back pocket. Troy had that. And we for damn sure don't have a Jimmy Johnson. Shoot. Hopefully he can advise some stuff. Troy had that, right? And that's not to discount or to take away from Troy Aikman, nor Roger Staubach. But we did have a Jason Garrett. If I had a time machine and I snapped my hands and I put Jason Garrett in the 90s to be this coach right here for the 90s team, I'm quite sure that it wouldn't have the same results, right, for the first 4 years or 5 years or whatever. They wouldn't have those same results. I can look at it from this perspective. I like the fact that we had Mike McCarthy here for these last 4 years now, and the results are, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. We gave him a mulligan for the COVID year or what have you. That's a cuss word, 2020. Even with that, we still have our inefficiencies with a whole bunch of other stuff. And granted, most people will only look at it and say, hey, man, those are just excuses. Name me the other teams with the same set. Name me the other team with the same set of circumstances to ultimately win it. I can't find a team in the National Football League with the similar sets of circumstances that the Cowboys had to go through and ultimately win it. I just can't find that team. But, it is what it is. But I appreciate everybody. To win it all, it's just crazy, But people think that those are the things that can change it, and it's not going to change, right? Right, it's not going to change. Seabass. Brandon says, Seabass, stop buying tickets and merchandise. No. Yeah, because we talked at the highest of the highest levels of letting people know that your merchandise and your ticket sales, that's not where the revenue is generating at. It's the TV dollars. You're going to have to stop ultimately watching. But the craziest thing of it all is that if you don't watch, the haters watch. The haters go watch. That's just what it is. On top of that, it's similar to what my guy said here. Where he at? I'm going to find him. Here you go. Shout out to my guy KG, man. Great job on his shows or what have you. But watch how he break this down, because I think that he's right on the money with it.
Part of this business is being able to deliver information in a way that connects someone to you based on the way that they may receive information that's different from someone else who you may get the same information from. That's what makes this business so fun and so entertaining, is that there are so many different personalities that bring it. But I feel like at times there's a blurring of the lines that's too much, that now we can't separate when someone's objectively trying to give their opinion versus trying to say the hottest thing, the loudest way that they could say it to try and generate a reaction. Because, and you may or may not appreciate the reference, some may will, everything is pro wrestling.
Everything is pro wrestling. People can sit back and watch wrestling and say, these guys with all of these muscles, they chiseled, they got all of this flexibility and movement. It's fake. And even if they expose it as being fake, people still going to watch it. People still going to root for it. Now, Football, to a degree, I'm not calling it 1,000,000% fake, but the Super Bowl and all of the things in its glory could be adjusted by chance of the aficionados or certain people with certain hidden agendas. There's nobody on this planet Earth can tell me that, yeah, Dan Quinn sat down the week prior to playing up against the Green Bay Packers, and he was all in on beating and destroying the Green Bay Packers with that particular game plan. And nobody can tell me that, hey, with the running game suffering the way it suffered throughout majority of the year, that we can sit back and say that when we get into the playoffs, that organically the run game is going to fix itself. No. We've been suffering with the inability to run the ball for the most part of the year. But when we call it out, we yell it out, people would shoot knives at us. People would tell us we don't know football. People would say, hey, man, the offensive line fault. Hey, man, it's Dak Prescott. He throws interceptions. He throws pick sixes. It's a whole sham of a job, right? I have a guy by the name of MJ to say, hey, the ownership had nothing to do with this, right? It's the coaches. The coaches hired themselves, I guess, right? So it's one of those things where it's always a spinning around the circle and pinning the tail on the donkey, right? And unfortunately, this is where we are at. Super Bowls aren't won in the offseason, Stephen Jones. Yeah, quote, unquote, yeah. Right, so there's a big announcement that was made that the NFL received $30 million growth on the salary cap. The craziest thing of it all, that I get it, the salary cap was created so that you can keep the owners in check, right? So they won't go into this crazy spending habit of crazy driving up the market, and so they put some cap constraints on the situation. So the salary cap is $255 million, that all 32 teams share the same cap. Guess what? Next year the cap is going to grow even more, anywhere upwards of 30 to 40 million for the next year. When its TV dollar revenue fits in and settle in, is going to continue to rise. So for the life of me, the whole notion that the Cowboys can be in this cap hell or what have you is only a myth. It's only a myth. Because for one, they do revenue share, and number two, whatever money that you put down on a player now is going to dissipate, because the next year is going to be even more added to. It's like you equivalently having, or it's like you having a credit card, right? Knowing that you got to pay these bills off by the end of the year, but all of a sudden you get an extra dosage of a bonus, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it is what it is. Let's listen to this other part before we depart and all of this stuff. I want to go over this right here, and I think that they did a great job on the Dak Buzz piece. Shout out to 105 again. I'm not going to play the full.
Bobby, the Cowboys sent out their hitman. Actually, Chuck, we'll start with you on this because you were kind of explaining the finances of it, but David Moore, who it feels like Jerry and Steven, they hand their information to, go ahead and relay it for the Dallas Morning News. We really have to pay attention when David is spreading a message, and he did last night about not having to sign Dak Prescott.
So here's his here's a blurb for what's behind the paywall. 2 voidable years do exist in his contract, and Bobby's talked about that. The voidable years that don't have any value.
They're nothing
to him.
Years, yeah.
Right. An automatic conversion can turn part of his base salary into a signing bonus, then that's distributed over those 3 seasons. He's scheduled to receive $29 million in base salary. Dallas could choose to put all but $1 million of that and change into a signing bonus, which would lower his cap hit from $59.46 to $40.9 for this upcoming year. So they would save about $20 million-ish off the cap. Now, Florio says that Dak would count for nearly $55 million against the cap in 2025, even if he signs elsewhere. If they do this,
Yeah.
It's because of it's like what we had talked about. Is that
Hold on. So if you move the money, you're going to have to still account for it, right? Because of the contract agreement. The guarantees money wouldn't be all voided out because of the fact that you took a piece of that money and you pushed it back. Granted, if you do that, I guess instead of hitting the $59 million cap hit, which is pretty deep, it's a very steep cap hit, that you will absorb most of that and then you would just get a $40 million cap hit. Well, the Cowboys lived in a world before that they took a $30 million cap hit when they franchise tagged the quarterback, right? So this would be what, $10 million more? And then you can go in and adjust somebody else's contract and get from under it. Like you can't live in that world in that world of a possibility of just taking the $40 million cap hit for this year, and at least you spread it out for 2025, but it'll still be there waiting on you. It'll be like a $52 million cap hit like they're presenting here. I don't think that the people are living in that world of possibilities that you want to go through that. On top of that, let's say if we strike and hit really well with Trey Lance, well, this is a contract year for him. He's going to want upwards of what any top-tier quarterback is getting just based off of that 1 year long. I don't think that – and then what will happen here, it will force you to either do two things. Give him a nice, serviceable contract or put him on the franchise tag, But you don't want to tag because you can't spread that out and you can't prorate it. So that's where you are at. Now, the biggest problem with Dak Prescott contract, objectively speaking, is that he got a no-trade clause on his contract. And I get it. Most people think that, hey, let's just trade him here, let's trade him there. No, he's like, nah, you're not going to put me in the slams like that. No. I seen what Amari Cooper been through. No. I'm not finna remove that clause from there because I ultimately don't trust you. So that's where the Cowboys are at. They are in that pickle. They are in the bad spot with the contract. Now, being objective with you guys, I'm with the ability to think that if Dak Prescott didn't have that trade clause on his contract, they would have been shopping him. They would have been at least seeing what they can get out of Dak Prescott if he were to enter the open market in that particular situation. But unfortunately, the Cowboys didn't craft up the proper way to dial up that contract. So that's just how it goes.
that those 2 voidable years, if you don't extend him and are able to massage that, those 2 years, whatever you've spread out on the cap over there, that accelerates and hits your cap that day.
So you can't do a 2-year spread out June 1st, all that stuff. Okay.
Nope.
Florio says, so they embraced the idea suggested by Moore, but then failed to extend him. That's not a deal breaker considering teams often kick the can down the road. That's what Florio writes. Now, Joe Buck's fan website. This is
Joe Buck has a fan?
Ira Kaufman. He is the Hall of Fame voter.
Okay, Tampa.
It's his website. He said the Tampa absorbed $35 million in dead money this year following the Tom Brady retirement. And I mean, look, they were still able to make the playoffs,
right.
So it's not necessarily crippling.
Yeah.
But also, real quick, Florio notes that the cap this year is expected to be around $250 million, which is $25 million more than it was this past season. Assuming it's $25 million more again next year, I mean, there's your $50 million.
So that's the numbers, the nerdy math of it. If all that goes over your head, especially at 6 o'clock in the morning, just know this. The headline to David Moore's piece is basically Cowboys don't necessarily have to sign Dak to an extension this offseason. And when something like that is written, what do we make of it?
Yeah, so and look, this is
we don't have to. We control these things. Jerry loves reminding you that it's his sandbox. Loves. I'm not going to fire Jason Garrett on your timeline.
Yeah.
My team. My Ring of Honor. I mean, it's mine. I get to pick. I get to choose. And even though the quarterback has us bent over a barrel,
Yeah.
Bent over a barrel. No, we don't have to. We don't technically have to if we don't want to.
Yeah, I think in the realm of, commissioned pieces that exist, this one is it's generally playing down the middle, trying to say like, oh, here you got over here, you've got look, this is a reasonable question. In fact, the final line is, you can say the Cowboys must keep Prescott and sign him to an extension. You can land on the other side of the argument. You can kick the can down the road for another season. Whatever side you take, you should acknowledge this is a reasonable, responsible conversation, which that's just the tone coming out of this. Is this as egregious as a couple weeks ago when it's like, here's Blake Bortles and everybody else who's a more successful playoff quarterback.
That was
than Dak.
insulting.
Yeah.
No, that's not as bad. This one is not as bad as that, but it's just, I think people are viewing it in the totality of, man, there definitely seems to be this push coming in articles of like, look, see, you don't have to. This isn't necessary, which always feels like some sort of cowboy play to
negotiate.
Say, yeah, it's just it's putting out there, sending out the message that, hey, I know you see this. We don't have to do anything if we don't want to. So don't think you have all the leverage because we don't have to.
Yeah. So just when you read that, it's still you still got 3 years left on the contract, and the dead money is 61.9, and then for 2025 it'll be 36 million. So that is a lot of dead money, and then the cap hits. So the Cowboys, when people say, well, and this is me, I'm not trying to let you guys go off with, oh man, his contract is what killed us. I want you guys to pay attention and understand that these numbers right here, and I'm saying it slowly so people can understand money on the cap. When I draw this little line right here, and when people just don't understand who skipped math, who pretty much probably, didn't do well in economics or accounting or algebra, college algebra, whatever it may be, they got messed up by 1 + 1. They say it's 5, man. 1 + 1 is 5. 1 + 1 is not 2. In 2021, he counted only $17 million against the cap. He only accounted for $17 million against the cap. They restructured his contract, right? So that's why you seeing all of this big cap number now. Now, it is brilliant the way they draw up this contract initially, because you are talking about, for 2021, you're talking about a quarterback that only cost you $17 million, right? That's cheap, extremely cheap for a quarterback. And then in 2022, he accounted for $19 million. Last season, he accounted for $26 million. All of those numbers are pretty much adjusted. A lot of people were angry and upset because from their mindset that they were thinking that Dak Prescott ain't worth it. He shouldn't be a $40 million quarterback. Those numbers right here, 40 million APY, that is not his salary that goes against the NFL league's payout. What you're fighting to is the cap figure. And that's the number one problem that most fans get, because they look at the APY and they say, oh man, he ain't worth $40 million a year. And it's nothing to do with that. And that's just the reality of it. And when you look at his overall career earnings, you can see that the dude really didn't hinder the Cowboys. The Cowboys hindered themselves, because in 2020, look at his career earnings. Look at the career earnings. And these salaries right here, it was counted against the cap added to with the earnings. So $450,000, he had got an incentive for $343,000. For 2017, $540,000. He got an incentive base of $400,000. So he earned $941,000. For 2018, he only got paid $630,000. Right? There's people right now watching. They got paid or make more money than Dak Prescott in 2018. All right. And in 2019, that's when his big payday came. He got paid $2.1 million. So you had relatively these same type of conversations about your quarterback who should take a quarterback hometown or home team discount, and the team is going to do more. So if you look at it from this all the way from 2019 to now, you were getting your discount. You was getting everything you needed. That was your discount. 16, 17, 18, 19. You was getting your discount. Now, I'm with the belief because I'm Team Cowboys, and if the Cowboys were not sold on Dak Prescott, this is what they should have did in 2019. Let him see the open market, put tenders on his contract, and say, hey, we will be willing to ship him off for 2 first-round draft picks or a first and a third or two-thirds or fourth-thirds, something like that. But the Cowboys decided to nail themselves to this cross, and that's what they did. And this is not on Dak, by the way. You know what I'm saying? This is not on him. So they decided to franchise tag Dak Prescott, which you can't prorate, you can't spread the money out, and that's why it hit $31 million, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys can see right here, that's why it hit $31 million. And then the next year in 2021, they restructured the contract. Why? Because it was going to be a $75 million cap hit if they didn't do such. They restructured the contract, and boom, here we go right here. It ended up being somewhere on the other page. We've seen it right at $17 million because they restructured all of this. But that's what he's been getting. So it's not Dak Prescott's fault. It's the Cowboys' fault on how they did that contract. And I'm to the point that I'm going to be happy when either the Cowboys extend Dak Prescott and move forward with him, or I would be damn near happy when he's gone so we don't have to talk about this and so we can beat up the next quarterback, right? And that's why I'm waiting for that day. I'm waiting for that day when he's gone completely or when he's signed so I know whether or not I can plan properly, right? Whether I know for sure he's going to be here for 3 more years or if he's gone, right? But that's just where I'm at with it because so many people make it about the money and fail to realize when we had the money, the Cowboys still didn't do nothing with it. Dog, when y'all look up these teams, and I'm going to go to cap, is it over the cap? Overthecap.com. We can go to overthecap.com. We can go cap space. I'm going to slide this over right here. Right now, the Washington team is sitting at $79 million of free cap space money. They can do whatever they want to do right now. Basically, they can sign some players and they can re-up some players. We, at one point of time, had $90 million in free cap space, and we sat on our hands and do nothing with it and signed some steel. We signed some what do you call those people from we signed some Ross players, some Marshalls, like my guy Boss Cowboys said, some TJ Maxx players that year, and we put the franchise tag on Dak Prescott. for ended up being rounded up for $32 million. You couldn't prorate it, couldn't spread that money out. It was $32 million just like that. And we signed some one-off guys, and then we re-up some other guys that was with that contract. Got nothing to show for it. So we'll see how these teams are going to move, the Commanders, Titans, Bears, Patriots, and as well as the Colts. And even the Texans, they got a lot of money to play around with. You know what I mean? Oh, they got a lot of money to play around with. And we'll see how we can do from there. Cowboy Nation. Jerry don't want to. APJR. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody, man, for tuning in to this. I really do. Thank all of you guys for being part of these type of episodes. Be sure to check out 105.3 The Fan. They do a great job over there. Be sure to hit the like, share this content, and continue to support the nation the best way possible. If I offended anyone, charge it to my head, not my heart, or charge it to my beard, not my heart. Come on, baby. Y'all know how this thing goes. One way or another, I appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to all of the sponsors. Appreciate you guys so much for rocking and rolling with the nation. Salute to Rogue Shop. Be sure to check out rogueshop.com. Use promo code LAW for all of your purchasing needs. And they have a team of people that you can talk to over there if you need advice on anxiety, depression, have trouble sleeping. Go to rogueshop.com. Check them out. Also check out Prize Picks, who've been rolling with the nation on so many things too. So I really appreciate Prize Picks. And then use promo code LAW there too as well. On my way out, ladies and gentlemen, I thank y'all so much. Shout out to you, Mr. Antoine Myers. Appreciate you. I want your cousin, man. Tell Ken Law to hit me up, bro. I want him on this team. We got the money now, man. We just got to make some adjustments. They're going to have to figure things out on their own merit, though, the Cowboys front office. Cowboy Nation, I do like the fact that Jaylen Mills pointed out the obvious, right, on things that this team need to do in order to excel. I do like the fact that my guy Bobby Belt pointed out the obvious on things that we need to do to excel. Yeah. Ken Law, come on, baby, let's go. Action Power said, Law, stop with the Ken Law madness. Who do you want? Who do you want, Action? Let me know. I'm just throwing names out there to see where it can stick. Ultimately, it's not my decision. It's the Jones family, right? They got to make the decisions, right? I'm not up there. I can't sway the mind like that. Just a little bit. When I go too deep, they jump into my inbox. They hit me up and call me, hey, man, can you simmer down just a little bit on this, please? And I pull back. There's some things I'll be withholding because I know some stuff. But I don't want to outspeak my wisdom teeth. And that's right, Adam. Appreciate you for the $4.99 for your mind. But the Cowboys going to have to do these things. Make sure they do self-inventory first, see what they need, and then go shopping into free agency. Then when the draft hit, make your movements there. BPA. Please don't go into this draft drafting needs. Come on now. Don't go into this draft drafting needs. Go into this draft with the mindset of BPA. That's what you got to do. Cowboy Nation, one love. That's all the time that I have for this beautiful moment. Be sure to hit the like, share this content, and let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and Beyond. My mom would always let me know, say that thing from Les Brown on your way out, baby. Well, let me give it to y'all right now. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it. If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad, that you don't get tired, and it makes you hold everything, tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply, just simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, and sagacity, with faith, hope, and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if neither cold, poverty, or famine shall feign, or the sickness of your body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation, even on this beautiful Sunday, you will get it. That's been my time. Come on.
Damn.
Let's get it, baby.
Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say,
I am.
Damn. Give me that thing, you.
Y'all check out the Cam Newton fight. Cam. I'm glad nobody was seriously harmed in that particular.
What more do you want from me?
Particular battle royale. They try to jump Cam, man. Now I don't condone no violence, man, but Stephen A. Smith, man, you know these kids, man, don't go where Cam went to, man. Come on, baby. Now we don't condone no violence over here. Now, come on. It's an evil world we live in. Come on. Yo.
Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take some losses when I play. Charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Rabbit now. I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, not switching sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me.
Yeah.
I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer. I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just want
No, Tricks. I saw another angle where Smooth ran up on Cam, and Cam ate a few of those fists. You know what I'm saying? The dude with the white backpack. Yeah. They sucker punched him. Now, I don't know what kind of fight he was trying to break up, but shoot, he became part of the fight. So that's why I say, man, I appreciate Cam for not really swinging on the boys. Because one punch from him, I know it's different. I know it's different. It's like a boxer. It's like a boxer. Let me go back over here so y'all can see me. It's like a boxer. You know, a boxer got to register. Those hands are registered, right? So if me and Floyd Mayweather, we bump into each other, and then he fooled around and he started swinging at me, and he connect, then they gonna be like, well, hey, them that's a registered weapon, dog. He might go to jail. Shoot, I was watching this movie on my way out, dog. Watch this movie called Con Air, right? This dude was in the military. And what was the actor? Y'all can put his name down. Whatever that guy's name, I forgot his name. He played in Gone in 60 Seconds. But it was a movie called Con Air many a moons ago. I might watch it when I get out of here. In the beginning of the movie, him and his lady, he just came back from the from the Army, whatever, or the Air Force. And he was just chilling. They was having a good Nicolas Cage, appreciate you. He was just chilling, man, and these guys were trying to holler at his wife or his squeeze or his boo thing. And he was like, hey, buddy, hey, she's taking this mines, you know, hey, leave me alone or what have you. And on the way, he tipped the bartender. He tipped him on the way out, and they get out of the doggone building there. These same guys want to fight him now, you know. And he just squared up on them. Yeah, whooped their ass. And one of them died or something like that. And he ended up getting arrested and go to jail because they said, hey, man, your hands are registered. I saw one of those kids rat all the way back, swing and punch Cam in the face and didn't even faze him. He was like, all right, okay, cool. He grabbed one guy. Me and my brother was talking about this before I hit the live button. He grabbed one kid, and there was this ledge. He could have just, like a toothpick, he could have just flung him over. But then Cam was like, nah, I ain't going to do him like that. And he was smiling the whole time. If you zoom in, Cam doing like this. He eating them doggone blows, and he's smiling like you see all of his whites. You know what I'm saying? With the doggone, you know, one fish, two fish, blue fish hat. He had one of them damn hats on, and the hat stays still. He's smiling, you know what I'm saying? He getting punched all in the face, and I'm sitting here like, man, he could have literally threw one of them kids over the railing. But one thing I would say that I really liked, that none of those officers got trigger happy. None of the officers put their hands on the guns or what have you. They kind of, because people swabble, man. People gonna get some scruffle stuff to go on, and I appreciate that. Although I will say I don't condone violence and I don't condone any of those fighting things, especially those silly teenagers doing what they did. I would tell y'all that, you know, that it's good that these guys didn't pull no triggers. But I appreciate y'all, man. Let me get on up out of here, man. One love to y'all. Let's get on out of here. What my outro?
Low.
Let me get it right quick.
Low.
I'm gonna get it right here. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, peace. One love. Don't be swinging on Cam. Oh, Cam. He could have literally broke a jaw on one of them kids or threw one of them over the railing. He literally could have did that. I saw him. Me and my brother, he stopped it in freeze frame, and Cam smiling the whole time. Come on. Be safe, everybody. NRA. Yes, indeed. Let the street lights. I stay in your ground law over here, though, you know. Yeah. They call it attitude adjusting. Play a tune. Yeah. They say we got that piece that since you won't be listening to me, we send you to God. Let him talk to you. You know. But I'm glad Cam Newton don't have that type of attitude. These young kids don't care anymore, though. They would slam a door. They would literally slam a door in the old lady's face. They would walk and not hold their lady hand. She walking on the side of the street, and she supposed to be inside. And I think the women are just as disrespectful too. Because a guy can help hold the door for a lady, and she think that he's simping, or she think that he want to slide in between the cheeks. I mean, my bad, I said that out loud. Slide in between she's. But y'all get what I'm saying. Chivalry's not dead though, but people don't respect that anymore. Some of the women though. Some of the ladies love to you hold the door for them. But that's not a weak man move, though. Hold the door for the ladies. Come on, baby. Come on with it. Oh, my goodness. I stopped the music prematurely. But we out. Peace.